While talking about Donald Trump still, the U.S. president is pushing hard to secure congressional approval for his Save America Act. Remember, the president is using the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of FISA and the appointment of a director of national intelligence as leverage in his effort to advance his Save America Act. In a surprising move, Donald Trump delayed the Senate confirmation hearing of his own nominee for Director of National Intelligence. The hearing for Jay Clayton's nomination had been scheduled for Wednesday this week. But just hours before it was set to begin, the president announced that it would not go forward. Trump said that Republicans and Democrats had agreed to fast-track Clayton's nomination in exchange for renewing the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Now, FISA Section 702, that allows the surveillance of foreign targets overseas, expired last week after the Congress failed to extend it. Donald Trump argued that confirming Jay Clayton too quickly would prevent acting DNI chief Bill Pult from remaining in the position until Congress votes on FISA, and he therefore suspended the confirmation process. Trump has also linked the renewal of FISA to the passage of his Save America Act, which is a voting reform bill that would require proof of citizenship and tighter voter identification requirements. The president says he will not support extending the surveillance program unless lawmakers also approve the measure. In a post on Truth Social, Trump expanded the Save America Act to include proposals that go beyond the voting policy. He linked the legislation to a ban on transgender women competing in women's sports, as well as restrictions on gender-affirming medical procedures for minors. The president's decision drew sharp criticism from the Democrats, who accused Trump of jeopardizing national security by linking the surveillance program to his voting reform agenda.
Trump's actions overnight make it clear. The fact that Trump withdrew Jay Clayton should erase anyone's doubts. Trump wants FISA to stay expired. And if he thinks that he is going to save his SAVE Act by attaching it to FISA, he's got something coming. We will never pass the SAVE Act. Never. It is so damaging to our democracy.
Trump's push to secure the passage of the Save America Act comes as the United States prepares for midterm elections this November. Remember, the American president has repeatedly raised concerns about election security and mail-in ballots. With Trump continuing to press his electoral reform agenda, the political battle over voting reforms in the U.S. is now expected to intensify in the months ahead, especially as the clock ticks for the midterm elections. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
President Trump is renewing his push for the Save America Act, a voter ID and citizenship verification measure he says is essential for election integrity. And despite support from his own base, the proposal is already facing skepticism on Capitol Hill, including from some Republicans who say they simply do not have the votes to pass. The debate is exposing tensions within the GOP as Trump pressures lawmakers to make legislation a top priority ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. However, even his staunchest supporters on Capitol Hill are wondering whether or not this push is worth it at this point. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.